We are back here live on PALS TV for our final segment of the day. It's been a great Friday so far, and we're going to finish it strong. Heading over to Columbus, Ohio now, and sitting down with our very own Phil, who's going to be giving us some healthy techniques and some tips right now just about the virus and helping us understand it a little bit better. And please keep yourselves safe. It's so important to us to make sure that you are going to be joining us whenever we do reopen again. So in the meantime, this weekend, if you do have some downtime, you wanted to go back and watch some episodes, you can get on our website or go to YouTube and type in PALS TV episodes, and you'll be able to watch some previous segments of our first season of PALS TV. So right now, though, let's learn about some of the important things going on in our society today and head over to Columbus, Ohio, and join our own Professor Phil. Phil?
Today, we're teaching poodles how to fly. You ready, Fifi? All right. In fact, today, we are going to return to the very first health episode that we did because Caitlin was our only viewer then. Hi, Caitlin. We're going to be repeating what we did then and talk about the basics of coronavirus so we understand what's going on around us in this world. I am assisted here by Shannon's dog, Brody. We'll hopefully not drink any of the demonstration later. It wouldn't be pleasant for anybody. Okay. So if at any time during this you've got a question, just wave that hand and I'll give you the mic so you can ask. Or if you just want to say something, perfectly fine. Before we get into anything, I think that, yeah, we were all here. Everybody that was here, or is here now, was also in the last segment. And I just wanted to remind everybody of the very wise thing that Bianca said, that failure is perfectly fine. Go be brave enough to fail at something new. Go fail gloriously. It's the best thing you can possibly do. Get out there and do stuff. All right, so into coronavirus. Let's talk about first what just a virus is. There are all kinds of sicknesses and diseases and illnesses that we can get. Some of them are caused by bacteria, some of them parasites, some of them viruses. We're talking about viruses today because that's the one we're all dealing with right now, is coronavirus. So a virus is nothing more than information that tries to repeat itself, which is most life, really. And whether a virus counts as life, nobody's really sure. That's a difficult question, but we'll get to that in a second. This information is genetic information, the same stuff that tells your body how to work and how to grow and how to be itself. That's what the center of the virus is. It can be DNA, it can be RNA. Those things don't really matter to us right now. But a virus is just genetic information. And what that information first tells it to do is to build proteins. Protein is the major nutrient that we get in meat. You'll remember beans, nuts, other pulses. So you'll see that a lot in nutrition type of things, which we'll be talking about next Friday's nutrition. Be sure to tune in. So these proteins in any virus, that's what makes things happen for the virus. It goes out and tries to make more of those proteins and get more information to make more proteins. We get more and more viruses. That's all that a virus is really for, if it has any kind of purpose at all. So some of them also pick up other things. When they infect somebody or something, they'll pick up stuff that wraps around the protein. The protein's just a little tiny bit in the center, and then it picks up stuff around it, usually fat. That's what happens with COVID-19. the particular coronavirus that we're worried about right now. Many other coronaviruses do this as well. So when you look at the COVID-19 virus, you see a little bit of protein in the middle, and it's all surrounded by fat. That's what it looks like. What the protein does is attach to different parts of your body and then tries to get inside your cells so it can make more, because it needs to get the nutrients from your cells, essentially, to have something to build more viruses with. And that's pretty much what all life does. The question of whether a virus is alive or not, we keep talking about killing the virus. I don't have a good answer for that, and most people don't have a good answer for that. Some people are very certain that viruses are alive, and some people are very certain that they're just something like a poison or something that exists in nature. It's part of biology, but it's not a live thing that wants to do things. I don't know that a bacteria wants to do anything. It's not really sentient, doesn't have a mind, but it's definitely alive. It's a type of animal, sort of. Okay, so we've got the protein and we've got the fat, and the protein goes in and grabs stuff. It's the protein that makes coronavirus so dangerous for our lungs. Molecules tend to fit with other molecules, and some of them just bounce off of each other. And which ones fit together, which ones bounce off, depends on what ones they are. They've got a specific configuration, just like a key into a keyhole. If the key fits, then they lock together. If it doesn't fit, they just kind of bounce apart. The lung tissue that you have, those cells fit really well with the protein in the COVID-19 virus. So it connects to those. We get a bunch of COVID-19 virus all sitting all over our lungs. That's why it's difficult to breathe. That's why eventually you'll get fluid in the lungs, very like pneumonia in that. Not like pneumonia in a lot of other ways. Not like the flu at all. It's its own thing, like any other disease is its own thing. But that's how that works. It just connects with stuff, tries to get into your cells, and that's what it connects with really well. That's why we have lung issues and stuff to breathe. We start coughing. But it doesn't affect your nose much. And that's why you don't sneeze. And your nose doesn't run a lot, like it does with other sicknesses, particularly the common cold. You're going to sneeze a lot with that. If your nose is running all over the place, probably not COVID. It might be because we don't know a whole lot about it yet. It's still new, it's still different, and we're still learning most of what we know about it. So how do we protect ourselves from it? So you remember the fat layer. You got the little bit of protein, and we got a bunch of fat around it. It's the protein that's the important part of the virus that makes more viruses, that grabs a hold of you. And that's the part we want to break apart. If we do that, it can't make any more viruses, because that protein is what holds, essentially, the information, that genetic information, DNA, RNA. I'm not sure which the COVID is, if it's an RNA or DNA virus. I should find that out. But if we break that apart, then it can't make any more and will be safe. So the fat protects that protein. Protein's pretty easy to break down. If you take a piece of hamburger and you throw it in Coke, that hamburger will dissolve. It'll just tear apart with the acid in the Coke. Just pour some alcohol on a piece of hamburger. It'll start breaking down. Put hamburger out in the sun. Hamburger will break down. You can break protein pretty easily. Most viruses can be destroyed pretty easily when they're outside of you. When they're inside, it's a different thing. So the key, of course, is to keep it from getting in you and to destroy it out there. The tough part with COVID-19, other coronaviruses, and a lot of viruses that have this fat layer is we got to get rid of that fat. Okay, show of hands. Who has ever buttered a piece of toast with a knife? All right. So when you clean that knife afterward, because I'm assuming we're all doing our dishes as soon as we're using them, right? Take care of your equipment, take care of you. You got to clean stuff. So you clean it and you run some water on that buttery knife, and that butter just stays on there. So you turn the heat way up so it's almost too hot to touch, and you pour that super hot water on that buttery knife, and there's still butter on it. That doesn't melt down really easy. Despite the fact that butter melts under heat pretty well, not well enough to get it off of your knife, or if you put it on your hands, just water, and your hands are still all buttery and slick. That's really tough to get rid of. But butter is a fat, just like the fat that surrounds that protein at the center of the COVID-19 virus. Fats are fairly complex molecules. There's a lot of stuff in there, and that's why they don't break down well. You got this really long chain of different atoms in there, and they all connect together. It's tough to break them apart. What does break them apart are soaps and detergents. So washing your clothes and washing your hands, that's why this is important. Because if you put a little drop of soap on that buttery knife, a little water in there so the soap gets around, you just give it a quick scrub, all that butter comes right off. What's happening there is the molecules in the soap go in and they just break apart those long fat molecules, shatter apart, and they can't hold together anymore. So away goes the fat. That's why we're washing our hands and our clothes to help keep us from getting the coronavirus. A little bit of protein, a lot of fat around it. If we get rid of the fat, all we've got is that protein. Proteins are easy to destroy. We can do it with anything. Just like you can tear apart a piece of hamburger with no problem at all. That's how easy it is to kill that. Once it gets in your body, that's a different story, because now it's surrounded by you. If you're going to start destroying proteins, you got a lot of proteins in you. You've got genetic information just like viruses in you that tell you how to work. So it's really tough to get in there. That's why viruses are really tough to cure. We don't really have good medicines for those because they're so much like us. Although really all life is, and we can get rid of others, but it's so simple, there's just nothing to latch on to. Like if you've got a worm in you, we can find out that's what that worm doesn't like, and we'll just give that to you. You'll be okay with it, but the worm will die. Bacteria, same way. Viruses are so simple, they're pretty much like anything, and we could hurt you really badly. Even our best antiviral drugs will really mess you up. We only use them when we absolutely have to. So the best thing we can do is break that down outside and not let it get into us. So soap and water, destroy that fat so we can break apart the protein before it gets inside. All right. Anybody have any questions yet over what the coronavirus actually is? Or why soap is important? Let me unmute you. Yes.
Hi, Phil. This is Kristen. My cousin Sarah works for the Pittsburgh from Diseases. So she works with what kind of diseases it is and what kind of viruses is out there and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And there's I saw on the news about this lady has immune and she had the antibodies in her body and the virus didn't get her sick, and they try to make a vaccine for it, and so someone can use it when someone's sick and that.
That was an excellent point. Because we can't cure viruses with medicines like we can other diseases, like bacterial things. In most cases, we can't. And it's so often that we can't, I just say we can't cure viruses. It's just simpler to figure that out, to say that. In most cases, that's true. So what we can do is get a vaccine. What a vaccine is when you get a sickness, your white blood cells, the rest of your immune system, create something, as Kristen was saying, called antibodies. That's what fights off the sickness, and destroys that little protein in there. And it's specifically good, a particular antibody specifically good at that disease. That's what it goes for. That's what it's handy at. Previously, for a lot of different diseases, somebody would get exposed to a disease and they would develop antibodies for it. So if they survived, they had a lot of those. So we'd take their blood and pull the antibodies out and we could put it into other people. That's what a vaccine is. Just in some cases. And in other cases, a vaccine just mimics the disease. If we could make a fake coronavirus and jab everybody with it, then we would go ahead and create those antibodies on our own. So hopefully we can get some kind of vaccine soon. What a vaccine does is prevent you from getting that disease in the first place, because we've already got the antibodies to fight that disease. So when the disease gets in there, we're ready for it. We don't have to fight it off. It's already being done. And we don't have to have any problems getting sick and then trying to recover. Now, one of the problems with the COVID-19 creation of a vaccine and creating antibodies is we're not entirely sure yet that if you get it, you can't get it again. For a lot of diseases, that's true. Measles and chicken pox, things like that. My father's time, when he was a young child, maybe even before that, people would have, and they still do sometimes, they would have disease parties. If a kid in the neighborhood got chicken pox, you'd bring all the kids that hadn't had it yet and leave them in a room for a few days and let them live together so everybody would get it really early and then they're safe later. We don't know if that kind of thing would work with COVID-19 yet. If it does, that's really promising. There are some people that aren't going to get coronavirus, like the person Kristen was just talking about. And maybe that's where we'll get a vaccine. Let's hope something happens. So that's vaccines. That's one way to prevent it. If it finally gets into us, then we can stop it once it's in if we have those antibodies, the things that fight disease. And vaccines start that process early before we get it, so we're ready for that fight. But there are other ways that we can keep, besides soap and water, that we can keep virus. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Hand
sanitizer. Yes, we can use hand sanitizer to help keep ourselves from getting the disease into us, the virus into us. One of the problems with hand sanitizer is that alcohol doesn't work great on destroying fat. We've got that fat covering. It does work eventually. So soap and water is better than hand sanitizer, but if you can't use soap and water, use that hand sanitizer like Caitlin's saying, and that'll help get rid of a lot of it. Alcohol kills pretty much anything that's alive if you got enough of it right on the cell. The tough part is getting through that fat. That's why soap is better. Hand sanitizer is a great second choice. So we're keeping ourselves clean. We're trying to destroy the virus on the outside. But sometimes we might get the virus in. And it's the virus getting inside. You could have the virus all over your hand and you won't get sick. When it gets inside you, that's the problem. And the problem with it being on your hand is everybody keeps telling you not to touch your face. We all touch our face 1,000 times a day. We don't even notice it. You just scratch at your chin or your rub here. Yes, Kristen?
Sometimes people uses their elbows when they're coughing and sneezing, and instead they're using their hands.
Yeah,
And
always a good
I
idea.
got sick lots of times, and I was at work sick a lot.
Yeah, if you're sneezing or coughing, even when it's not coronavirus, if it's anything at all, then you want to go into your elbow, warn her, because I would have said you don't touch people with your elbow a lot and spread it around. Except now that we're not shaking hands, people that do meet each other are doing the weird elbow shake, which I find odd. But the plus side about us all staying home is that we're not meeting a lot of different people. So we don't have to worry about that even. Did you have, where's that button going? Hang on a second. I cannot. All right. Kristen, do you have another question? Because if you, wait.
Some people use like fist bumps. Sometimes if they don't shake hands, they usually do a fist bump every time if you don't want to shake anybody's hand.
Yeah, fist bump is very useful in a lot of ways. We're still touching hands, so we want to avoid that now, but for a lot of different things, that is a lot better. And it's much better than shaking hands and getting a whole bunch of hand stuff.
Air hug. Air hug.
An air hug is perfectly fine, as long as it's 6 feet away, 2 meters. A nice distant air hug, keep them away. The virus doesn't just travel by itself. It needs something to go in, and that's going to be some kind of liquid. Water vapor as you breathe, the spit when you cough, or just when you talk. Sometimes you spit a little. It gets on people. When we sneeze on people, the snot, it's got stuff in there. So all of that. And that's what we're trying to keep out of us. That's why we use masks. It's not so much so it doesn't get into us, because if Gila, for instance, is not wearing a mask and has the coronavirus and comes up and coughs on me, but I'm wearing a mask, I've still got that all over the mask. When I take that off, I'm probably going to touch the mask, or during the day I will, and then I'm going to touch my face again. It's going to get inside me. Gila, make sure when you're out, you're wearing a mask. Good job. I'm pointing to a direction, like she's in the same place on everybody's screen. That's not necessarily true. So the masks are useful to keep all of the liquid that we've got in our nose and mouth that normally goes out into the air to ourselves. That's how we protect other people. It also helps us keep it from getting other people, but mostly it's so we don't spread anything out into the air. And if everybody's wearing one, that really helps. So we're not spreading it out. And if some does slip out, then we've got that extra barrier to protect us. The way the virus gets in is any hole you got in your body, basically. Viruses and bacteria and stuff get into our body anywhere your body is naturally wet. I've got to let somebody in because nobody picked up their checks last week. Be right back. Oh, thank you. Let me open this door. This is where to go. I'm back. Shannon's got it, and Brody. So the places that you're naturally wet. So the inside of your mouth, in your nose, your eyes, you get right in there into the tear ducts, all of those kinds of places. It is very possible inside your ear. I've never heard of the coronavirus in particular getting into somebody through their ear, but there are other sicknesses that get through there. I don't think the coronavirus will, but anything's possible. Your ear's real tough to get anything in. It's a very convoluted and hair covered inside. Yes, Kristen.
A lot of kids get earaches when they're little and they have a hard time hearing.
Yeah. So kind of like, well, yeah, enough like that we can use it for an example. The coronavirus gets eventually fluid in the lungs. If there's certain bacteria and viruses that can get into your ears, get into your ear canal, and then fluid builds up there. And that causes pressure, really hurts. And that's a good place for other infections to get, and then they spread. So basically, we want to keep every moist part of us safe. That's what we don't want anything to get into. One of the ways we can do that, like we said, is masks, and the other is social distance. Spit doesn't go that far, unless you're in a competitive spitting event. When you sneeze, that doesn't go that far. That's why we have the 6 foot or 2 meter rule. You're probably safe. It's not going to go that far, most likely. It's possible some little bits will get out there, but you're probably okay. We want to stay away, a distance away from people. The other thing we want to do is to make sure that we don't come into contact with a lot of people. None of us know, unless you've had the test recently, and we don't have a lot of tests in this country, so most of us haven't. Unless you've recently had a test, we don't know if we've got this or not. Some people get this and don't have any symptoms. We don't get sick. There's a lot of diseases like that. Some of them, men never get sick. Some of them, women, never get sick. We just carry the thing around and give it to everybody else. And that can happen with the COVID-19 virus, that we will have it, we don't get sick, but we'll go and spread to other people and they'll get sick. And we can really hurt people that way. So that is why we're doing the shelter in place, or in this state, we're now doing Stay Safe Ohio. Means mostly just stay with the people you live with. Don't go interact with anybody else. The more people we come into contact with, the better our chance of spreading that virus, not just to that person or to us from that person, but the next person we talk to. Once we get it from one person, everybody that we run into is in danger. So, I know Caitlin enjoys this bit, so we're definitely doing it again as we did the first day. We are going to describe how that works. Come back a bit and kick this up. Okay, we can see all of those. Good. I will need my color. We're going to look at what happens when we talk to just, we've got 7 people here represented by colors. We're going to look at what happens when each of these 7 people talks to just 2 other people apiece. All right. So, what's my first color? We are in orange. Let me move this one out. I think that we should do that. Is everybody comfortable using the chat function? Yes, no? Thumbs up if we're good? Okay, so let's do this by chat instead of me coming in and trying to unmute people individually. So we're going to start with orange. Let's go around. Oh, no, let's do it anyway. I need a color for orange to talk to. These 2 that look the same, one's green, one's blue. So you can just pick them. So we've got orange, brown, green, blue, purple, red, and black. So who's the first person that orange is going to talk to? Ah, red, got it, okay. So orange is going to go talk to red. Now we need to know who red is going to talk to. Anybody pick one yet? Blue, right. Red's going to talk to blue. Red goes down there to blue. Blue is going to talk to whom? Oh, I'll just take the one from Kristen right now. Blue's going to talk to brown. Blue talks to brown. All right, brown will talk to? We've got green, purple, and black we still need to hit. Oh, we already did red, Caitlin. I mean, green, purple, or black? Green, got it. Where did we just come from? Brown? Yeah, brown. Talks to what I just said, green. Brown's talking to green. So green needs to talk to purple or black. Pick one. Black, got it. And then black, clearly, will talk to purple. And the only person who hasn't been talked to yet is orange. So we're going to come up from purple to orange. So if we look down here, we've got everybody in the colors sitting here. The very first person, orange, definitely doesn't have the coronavirus. They are clear. Somebody, one person in here does have it. We don't know who yet because we haven't done the test. But I'm going to take orange and pour a little bit into the red move. Let me look. There's red. All right. So they have had an interaction and they're sharing. Lost a marker. Okay. So then red talks to blue. Red to blue. Right there. Blue talks to brown. Brown's up front. There. Brown talks to green. That one's green. Green is going to talk to black. A little on my finger there. That's not good. And then black will talk to purple. Purple's up. Is that brown? No, that's purple. And then purple will talk to orange. Okay, so we're going to go through one more time, and in the interest of time, we're just going to go straight around. Orange will talk to brown, brown to green, green to purple, purple to blue, blue to red, red to black, black to orange. We won't even write that one down. Get everybody in shape again. So we'll just go, everybody talk straight down the line. Put that one there. And then green is talking to, who is this? Purple, purple to blue, or the other way around. Yeah, blue to red, and then red to black. Now, yeah, that's good. If somebody's clear or white, they have no virus. If they're red, they got the virus. This is our testing measure. So let's start to find out. So orange was the very first person. We know they didn't start with the virus because I showed you that one. They'd got a test right beforehand, but they've talked to 2 people over this. Let's find out. They got the virus. You can hardly see that. Oh yeah, they're a little pink. I don't think you can see that color as well as I can. They got it at some point. They don't have very much of it, but they definitely got it. So they're out of the way. Let's look at brown. Oh, yeah, that's definitely red right there. That's red all over the table. I'm going to bring this down a bit. You can see better. There's two of them. What do we have with green? Does green have the virus? Oh, that's plenty red. They definitely have the virus over there in Greenland. Greenland. Purple. Does purple have the virus? Oh, yeah, red again. Is it? No, this one's blue. Green and the blue are way too close. More red. Oh, merciful heavens, more virus everywhere. Red? Red is red. Well, a little pink. But they got virus. And our last one is black. Black have the virus? Yep, that's more red in there. There's virus all over this table. Every single person, just talking to two people, picked up this virus. Let's try it again. This time we're going with blue. One of these people has the virus. 6 of them do not. Where am I going to put it? Okay. There's 6. Nice and clear. Okay. Let me shuffle them around. Nobody knows where anything starts. All right. So let's do this again. Would we like to just follow the same one? Yes? No? Yeah, let's just follow the same one. Okay. So we'll start up here with orange. Come back so we can see everybody again. Starting over here with orange. Orange is going to talk to purple. Here's purple. So they've shared. Purple will then talk to, oh, that's the wrong way. Okay, we're starting with purple and then going to orange. So purple and orange talk. Orange is now going to red, where it was supposed to go in the first place. And then red will go to blue. Blue. There we go. Blue will go up to brown. That's not brown. There's brown. So they talk. Brown will now talk to green. Brown. Green. Right here with green. And then green will talk to black. And black's at the end. Black talks to purple, where we accidentally started. And we're back around. Oh yeah, we're still going to read this down here. All right, so everybody in this case has talked to one person rather than 2. Still 7 people, still 1 person started with the virus. It definitely wasn't our first one. Because we never start with the first one, that'd be rigging it. Okay, so let's see how many people got it this time. Well, that's not blue, that's plainly white. So it isn't that one. 1 person without the virus. 2 people without the virus. We got 2 perfectly clearish white things. Let's go to green. White again. On to purple. Did purple have the virus? Oh, that's plenty blue right there. Yep, we got the virus on purple. And blue. Oh, blue is not in fact blue. No virus for blue. Over to red. Red does not have that virus. That's nice and clean. We've only got 1 so far. So what about black right here at the end? 1 more. So in this case, we only had 1 person with the virus, but 1 interaction for every single person. And we ended up with only 2 cases of the virus. This is why we want to limit our interactions as much as possible. It's not necessarily the people next to you. It's the people you run into. That's how we spread it. It's not if you run into people a bunch of times, then there's a greater chance that you'll get it from them. But it's always going to be about how many people we talk to that may have it. And we keep spreading it around more and more. That's what we're trying to avoid. The best way to keep it from getting into you is to not come anywhere near it. That's why we're doing all of this, all of the social distancing, all of the sheltering in place, all of the staying at home. Well, there's a lot more fun things we could do, but staying at home is a lot more fun than staying in the hospital. That's where we're going to stay. My fingers are really blue. All right, we are coming to our end. So any questions at this point, or comments, or just want to chat?
You need clean fingers.
What about my fingers?
You need clean them.
I'll clean. The nice thing about this is it's vinegar and baking soda, and vinegar and baking soda is what I use to clean anything at home anyway. So
It's not dye.
it's just food coloring.
Oh.
Right off. Gila, did you have a question, or you just got your hand up?
Yeah, I am.
I also want to get this over so I can.
What's going on, Gila?
What's up?
How you doing?
I will miss you.
Aw.
I miss you too, Gilligan.
What is open pound? How long?
We're going to open when it's safe again. When we're not going to make every single one of our cups red, we've only got
Why?
one or two that'll turn blue, that's when we can reopen. And we're not going to get people sick. It's,
Okay, I'm
you
going
think of all the
to
people that come to PALS in a day, that's a lot of people we're interacting with, and we could possibly give the virus to. We don't want to make our friends sick.
Right. So I don't know what time it open because I haven't no clue.
I guarantee you, we will let you know as soon as we can find out that it's open. Definitely want you back as much as you can be.
Because after Eric, that's fine. Love you. I
We'll
really
get you
love
back as soon as we can, Gilligan. As soon as we can.
I will.
Anybody else have any questions or anything to say? Yes, Kristen.
Hey, Phil, if you see someone's coughing and like out in public, you have to stay away from them so you don't catch the virus and stuff like that.
That's true. If you see somebody that seems to be spreading or you think they might be sick, you want to stay away from them. There's another part to that, though, which is just as important, is that sometimes people just cough. And sometimes people may have the virus and cough. That doesn't make them a bad person. We don't shun them or just, we keep distant from them. We don't want to get near, but we don't want to treat them like they're not a person and treat them badly just because they got sick. They need our care and help more than anybody does. Gilligan, hang on a second, because you've already done. Caitlin?
It's allergy season.
Yeah, a lot of people have allergies, so they're sneezing all the time, they're coughing, they can be short of breath because of that. We don't know why other people have anything going on in their lives, unless we ask them and they feel like telling us. Gila? Yes, Gila?
When I was hospital, I tried it.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. What question is Gila asking you?
Hasn't yet. She just said
Oh.
your mom wanted something and then stopped.
What do you need, Gila? What do you need to know?
I can call you on a team meeting for Eric.
Don't worry about the IP meeting. It's all good, Gila.
How long is it?
It's all good. I don't think she has a question. I think we're good. Thank you.
Have your ISP. I'll see you then. I'm not sure. If it's scheduled, then it's definitely on my calendar. All right, let's go ahead and kick this over to continuity. Take it away, Aaron.
Thank you, Phil. It's valuable information we all need to hear and know about right now. I know some of those topics are very difficult and scary, but it's necessary to keep us safe and healthy right now. And that's what's most important so that we can get back to seeing you here really soon. Thank you, Caitlin and Kristen, for your comments and your contributing to Phil's segment here. You did a wonderful job. Kristen, I know your cousin personally, and we're very grateful to her and what she does for the world right now. You know, that just goes to everyone, you know, the scientists, the first responders, our doctors, our nurses, all those people that they don't even know your name, but they go above and beyond to make sure that you're healthy and, you know, that you get back with your family. So we're so thankful to all of them for everything they do. Next week should be another fun week here at PALS. We have a really awesome lineup set up for you with great educational activities, with our virtual tours and history, our gardening shows, and some of the terrific content that Phil has been able to bring you with science and health. And obviously our book club, we love that every single week. We'll be doing some cool art projects next week, some puppet shows, and then giving you some fun things to do at home right now with art and doing some of our drawing classes and our show and tells, physical activity programs with yoga and fitness with Shelley, and then some self-defense and empowerment from Gaia. We have our living skills program, so PALS, physical activity, living skills. We try to give you that every single week. And we will again with some cooking classes and having fun at home with some candy bouquets and different things like that. And then finally some games. So we'll be bringing back some Disney trivia and some other fun games for you and many other surprises in store. So look for the schedule to come out this weekend. Again, if you have some free time, you want to go back and watch previous episodes here on PALS TV, you can get on our website. So go to palschrysalishealth.com, and under the PALS TV section, you can find those videos, I believe, at the bottom after the schedule for the week. And then also, if you want to just go straight to YouTube, we have a channel now, and it's PALS TV episodes. So if you look up PALS TV episodes, you can watch them there as well. So if you want to binge watch this weekend, if you're bored and maybe stuck inside, because I think it might be cold again, you know, there's something for you to do. Finally, I've been saying it all day, and again, to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. We're so thankful for you and what you've been able to give all of us. So we miss you all. We're looking forward to seeing you really soon. Again, this is the next best thing right now to being able to communicate, see your faces, and, you know, just being able to have those relationships still. So thank you all for joining us this week on PALS TV. We'll be taking the weekend off, and we'll be coming back to you again live Monday morning at 10 a.m. And we'll be live from Steubenville. So have a great weekend, everyone. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and have a terrific weekend. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Phil. You're awesome.